And we are back for another part of the episode for Ronin's Den. This is going to be our news and information side of things. Steve, you found something.
I did. I've been tracking it for a while, and it became live on Kickstarter earlier. I think it was last weekend or earlier this week. It might have been Monday. But the Adventure Time role-playing game is live on Kickstarter, and there's kind of a split in the community about it. It's kind of split the people that are even backing it. It's not going to have any issues getting funded. Let's get that right or straight out the way. It's going to fund. But when they first announced that they were making an Adventure Time TTRPG, which was Cryptozoic, they've made other TTRPGs. They're responsible for like the DC deck builder. They're a big company. When they first announced that they were making the Adventure Time TTRPG, they announced that they were creating their own system called the Yes and But No system for Adventure Time. And a lot of people were excited about that. Now, granted, there was a sloth of people that were saying, why didn't you make it in 5e? Well, apparently, they listened to the people that said, why didn't you make it in 5e? And they decided to make it in 5e. After doing some research, it seems that they are still in the development of the yes and but no system,
Okay.
but they are struggling to get the licensing for it because they were only licensed for one TTRPG, meaning now that they're live with the 5e one, they don't have the licensing for a second TTRPG.
I don't know how that
I don't
works.
know how I feel about this. I don't know the logistics of it. I don't know the legalities. But I know that they've said that they plan to continue with it, but they're struggling with the licensing issues. But cutting back
Oh,
to this,
okay. Now I know why.
I like Adventure Time.
Mm-hmm.
I like Adventure Time. Adventure Time is a fun TV show from when I was a kid. I'm rewatching it currently, somewhat, every now and then. I don't know how I feel about it being 5e because I feel like it is too goofy for 5e. But at the same time, it's not as egregious as some of the ones I've seen get converted into 5e, but I'm not sure how I feel. Because Adventure Time is kind of near and dear to a lot of people's hearts, and I think a lot of people are going to want to play this. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I think. I do think it is kind of a bait and switch to
Yeah.
announce that you're going to make your own TTRPG system. And then you come out and say, nah, we're going to make it 5e, a 5e supplement. Especially with all of the issues with Wizards of the Coast lately.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how that decision gets made, and I'm kind of curious on your thoughts of this.
So I've never watched Adventure Time.
Huh?
Yeah, no, I've seen like little clips on YouTube and stuff, but I've never actually watched Adventure Time. But a friend of mine actually told me about this game a while back. He's never played Dungeons and Dragons or any other TTRPGs, and he was kind of excited to see something like this come out. Like, I do remember him telling me about it, but like it was one of those like it was in one year out the other with me because I never really got into Adventure Time, so I didn't start looking for it or following it. My issue is they announced a fresh system, and that's not what they're providing. That is bait and switch. That's annoying to me. I get why they went to 5e, even if I don't agree with it, because let's face it, you could slap 5e on the side of a box full of old sticks and rocks, and somebody out there will pick it up and buy it. I'm just, I mean, I know it's mean to say, but if you're just trying to get a book published and purchased, slapping 5e on it is a very safe way to go instead of doing your own system. What I hope they would do is if
I
they
do.
did this, that they're going to refund everybody who wants a refund now since it's not a fresh system.
Well, I mean, the people that want that just don't back the Kickstarter. So I don't think there's anything to refund.
Okay, so people
It's not
haven't
like the
already
game.
put money into it yet?
No, it's on Kickstarter now. They're funding.
Right,
But
but
the
people who
people
funded
they
into
they
it.
yeah, the funding is now.
Yeah.
It's just that they announced that it was going to be its own
Okay.
system. And then when it came, they didn't inform anybody prior to going to ask for funding that it was going to be 5e. No one knew it was going to be 5e.
Okay.
So that's where I have the issue, because like I was excited for this because I heard yes and but no custom system. Yeah, I want to play that. I want to get that. I like Adventure Time. I like the goofiness of Adventure Time. And I felt that it was going to be something unique and different, and Cryptozoic is a good company. Like, they've produced good things. I feel like I got, and I can't even say I was cheated because I didn't put any money in it, but I'm not gonna back this.
Yeah.
Then there
I
was a
don't blame
part of me that was like, maybe I'll just get the PDF. It's not Wizards of the Coast. But here's the other one that really irritates me about this Kickstarter. And get ready for this one, Eric. You're gonna love this one. You're
you. Oh.
probably gonna have a field day with this one. Granted, it won't piss you off as much because you like physical books. There are no PDF options.
Yeah, there will be. There'll be PDFs as soon as that book hits the first physical house. What are you kidding?
Well, there will be. Not
That is so dumb.
ones.
Yeah, that's so stupid. Oh man, that is so stupid.
They said
so many levels.
they said they couldn't get the licensing for the PDFs.
I don't
Do you
understand
know how many
that.
people? I don't either. Like, do you know how many people don't buy physical copies of books? They buy the PDFs.
Yes, because
Like,
they
there
make it
are
very
a
hard
lot
for
of
me to get the
people-
physical copy of a book.
And because PDFs can typically be cheaper, they're a cheaper option. They're a more economic option. They're better for the environment. Like, there are all these reasons to do PDFs, and you put out a TTRPG with no PDF options? Like, well, you just lost me. I was going to just get the PDF.
Oh man, that is just silly. Because on a business side of things, it's like, okay, we don't want to have PDFs because they're easily pirated. Have you ever seen any of those websites that they just scan the books and stick them up online for a free PDF download, where you can just obviously tell, like, they just took the pictures with their cell phone camera and stitched it all together? I mean, they're gonna be online. We're in the day and age where you cannot avoid piracy when it comes to printed media. It's a fact. You might as well put it out officially in digital format, because there are also a lot of people out there that will support a good company and pay for the PDF even if they could get it for free. They'll still support the company and buy it. The good people will do that. So that's just
Agreed.
dumb. So I don't know why any business would be like, yeah, we're not going to license you to do the PDF as well as printed. That seems like a weird decision. Now that I thought about, why they can only do 5e or their specific system on licensing, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. They bought the rights to do a thing, not to do multiple things with it.
Yeah.
And 5e is the better
Well-
business decision if you're just looking for quick return.
Well, and even that, I don't know that I fully agree with.
I don't agree
Because
with
if
it.
you look at the history of Kickstarters,
Mhm.
the Kickstarters that have done the most money as TTRPG systems were the Matt Colville system, which has the Matt Colville name. I understand that's an anomaly. But the Avatar: The Last Airbender is still the most backed TTRPG on Kickstarter ever.
Yeah.
And it was its own system. It was a powered by the apocalypse system, but it was its own powered by the apocalypse system. If you have a strong IP like Avatar The Last Airbender,
Adventure Time.
Adventure Time, everybody knows Adventure Time. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to get people that are going to back it and want to play it just because it has the name Adventure Time. You've kind of broke away from the Wizards of the Coast and the D&D there. You've got an IP that is arguably bigger than them.
Yeah.
And you're going to get people that are going to want to play that. So if there was ever a game that could have survived on its own system and its own merits, it was definitely Adventure Time. And
Yeah.
we have that proof from Avatar The Last Airbender. That game made so much money. So I feel like the decision to go to 5e in a lot of cases is probably true. But I think with an IP like Adventure Time, it's not necessarily. And then yeah, we have a comment. Yeah, I get it gets a lot of credibility just because of the name.
Yeah.
Right, like I said, people are
Both
going to
sides of
buy
it.
Adventure Time just cuz it's Adventure Time.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
anyway, I don't know if I'm actually going to back this. I do hope that they bring out their yes and no but system in the future and we get to see what that looks like. But for right now, that's my thoughts. It's just I wanted to bring it to the attention. It was kind of a bait and switch. I hope it works out. And I have no ill will towards Cryptozoic. I hope they um no wonder why there are 500 movies of Fast and the Furious. Good comment. Good comment. Yeah, IPs, man. If you get a strong IP, you're going to get the people to come.
Yep.
So you have something in the news business, so why don't you take it away?
Well, one of my favorite ones just popped up, even though I don't think nothing's going to happen with it. But Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast, the president, the person in charge of making sure the Pinkertons were sicked on somebody who pumped out AI art in their books and said that they weren't going to do it and laid off tons of people before Christmas is stepping down and leaving Wizards of the Coast. The person who said D&D is not monetized heavily enough and people need to pay more money to play D&D, even though these books are $50 a piece at launch. And now that they want you to pay for extra characters on D&D Beyond and different colored dice and character frames and portraits, they are quitting their job. They're gone. Nothing's going to change. They're going to replace them with somebody who's even worse, but they're gone.
Best case scenario, we get someone who's identical to her.
Yeah. That's the best case
Best
scenario.
case scenario.
Sadly.
Worst case scenario, Chris Cooks, the CEO of Hasbro,
Cox.
is going to bring in what?
It's Cox.
Chris Cox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cock.
Chris Cox. He's going to bring in someone who is worse.
I'm such a child.
We already know what Wizards of the Coast thinks of their fans. We already know what they think of the product. They want to milk D&D Wizards of the Coast for as much money as it has and then drop it. That's it. But
it's their most profitable property. They have to.
It is.
It's
And like board games, toys, they're not selling well. Their cash cow is D&D. It's Wizards of the Coast with Magic the Gathering and D&D.
mm-hmm.
I don't know, like I would love if they got a conscious CEO, but it's not going to happen. They're the evil empire. It's like the evil empire. Grand Moff Tarkin died. Now they have another person in charge. It's just somebody just as evil or more evil is going to step up and take their place. It's kind of like Hydra. You cut off one of their heads, two more take its place. This is not news. This is just typical corporate America bullshit.
Yeah. Especially when you, again, I mean, we did the story a couple weeks back. The timeline. In August 2023, Wizards gets caught using AI art in Big B's. I'm curious how much of that book's actually under copyright law now, considering you can't copyright AI art. It's something interesting I haven't seen anybody talk about at all, because you can't copyright AI art, and the book is littered with it. That might be something we're gonna have to do some research on for a show. Um, but they got caught.
Let's not talk about that one, right?
Yeah, they got caught. They were like, "Oh no, this is terrible. We'll never do it again." Then they got caught doing it again. And then they laid off. So it was what? It was August they got caught. They said they weren't going to do it again. Then they did the layoffs in December. Then in January they got caught using AI art again, saying we ain't going to do it. And then March, Chris Cox is like, "Oh, we got 50 years of content we could feed into AI." And the president's going down, who's is leaving, who said that we're not monetized enough. He's going to replace her with somebody who's going to go down that AI monetization route. That's where I'll bet my dollar.
Without question, that's where they're headed. It's not even a debate. Like, I've seen so many people like, oh, this is a good sign that Wizards of the Coast is changing in a new direction. Like, when has Wizards of the Coast in the last
30?
X amount of years done anything to prove or to like make you think that this is a good thing?
No. Wizards just look at the last 2 years of socially unconscious decisions. The Hadozi. That was awful, and it was done underneath her tenure. The Pinkertons.
Yeah.
They sent the Pinkertons, the bad guys from Red Dead Redemption 2. They sent them after somebody who they accidentally shipped cards to. Like, this is not a good company. It's not.
I still can't get over the people online that defended them sending the Pinkertons.
Yeah. I mean,
how could you possibly defend that?
Here's what I would have done, right?
A Hasbro gives me so many memories. I remember my childhood with them. Like, I do as well, but having fond memories of something doesn't change the fact that they're a terrible company.
Yeah. I mean,
that was a comment in our chat.
On the Pinkerton side, right? Let's say they accidentally shipped the cards to that person and they didn't want that person releasing information early. There are so many other ways they could have gone that even if you wanted to go the legal route and drag the person into court with do not publish, cease and desist, bring your videos down till X day, that didn't involve sending armed men to their house. Like, there were so many other things they could have done first.
How hard would it have been to fly one of your businessmen out? Like, fly someone out, have them get a rental car, go to this person's home, knock on the door. Hey, I'm a representative of Wizards of the Coast. It's been brought to our attention that you received some cards that aren't released yet. Let's sit down. Let's talk about the legalities of this. Let's talk about getting those cards back. Yeah. Like, these are the cards that you were supposed to get. I have them. Here you go. Give us the cards that you received. Then we'll just cut turkey. No legal business, nothing. If you are not willing to do this, we'll go down a legal route, as those should not have come to you. Like, if that happened to me and they're like, hey, you received these in error, we've brought what you were supposed to receive, here's a little extra for your inconvenience. Sure, why not? Here you go. You show up at my house with a bunch of armed men, I'm sure there's going to be a shootout.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying,
I am way more arsenaled up than that person was. Like, you would not, like, we'd have been on the news. Like, everyone everywhere would have heard about it. Like,
I just would have shut my door and been like, see ya effers later. Get off my property. I'm calling the cops. Bye-bye. I have a receipt.
Well, and then I have the question of, like, how legal is it for this mercenary group that isn't even recognized by the U.S. government? Like, the government isn't even allowed to hire them.
Yeah.
Like, it is a law
Well,
that
I
the
mean,
U.S. government, when it is so bad that the government can't hire them.
yeah. And our government, I don't even want to get on that topic. That is way off the freaking
No, but
topic scale for our show. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, just, so yeah, they're gone. This is awesome. Their last day appears to be the 26th of April, is when they're going to formally step down, according to SEC filings. Hopefully, we get somebody like my honest hope, because like I dig on D&D a lot. Like I give it a lot of crap, but it's because of a lot of the game design decisions. I don't really like the mechanics, but also the company is just so awful. I can't in good conscience give them any money or suggest that anybody else does. So I'm hoping they pull a creative out of the creative pool, somebody who is a lover of the game, who enjoys playing the game, and that is the person that ends up taking over that spot. But I mean, I really think we're just going to get a Chris Cox clone, or I mean, just an AI
oh,
bot.
without
Maybe they'll just replace her with an AI chat bot. I don't know.
it's not a positive.
Yeah.
That's just the fact. It's not a positive.
Yeah.
Like,
At
all the
best, it's
people that
nothing.
are optimistic, yeah, at best it's a lateral move, but it's not going to be in the right direction. And I got to go back to saying that there are so many ethical companies out there you can buy from, right? Uh, I'm kind of on the outs with Kobold Press right now, so I won't add them. I would prefer to save that for another video.
Yeah.
But I just MCDM, like, MCDM, as much you may not like Matt Colville, you might not like what he stands for. You may not like his videos online. There are some people I've met, they're like, "Oh, he gives the worst advice." As a company, MCDM is outstanding. They pay better than anyone else in the industry. You have companies like Telarius Gaming, our buddy, Telarius Game Master, Levi, When Suddenly Games. You have all these basically barely making it companies that could really use your money and your support, and people continue to defend this billion-dollar juggernaut, and I do not get it.
Yeah. I mean, and if you look at Telarius Gaming in particular, just out of those two, because I haven't read When Suddenly's. I don't even know if if Jeffrey has it prepared yet. To be honest, his version of the OGL, whatever's going to sit in that place. But Telarius is everything every gamer has ever asked for in an OGL is in Telarius Game Masters or Telarius Gaming Systems version of the OGL. Like I sat down and read
Yeah.
that thing line for line. People are able to use the artwork that is contained in the book. They just need to credit the artists and Telarius. Like he's put
It's
such an ethical company versus yeah, we're gonna send the Pinkertons because we sent you the wrong box. But we got a little bit off topic with Wizards there.
Yeah, I think we're gonna pull out now and
Yeah,
stop there. But yeah, I just that final thoughts. Um, final thoughts.
lateral
Don't
move.
back Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah,
Don't buy their stuff.
this is a
Lateral
lateral
move.
move at best.
As far Yeah. But anyway. So thank you for watching. Barros, thank you for interacting with us, and all your comments is appreciated. We really appreciate you watching our stream. We stream every Saturday, typically around 9 o'clock, sometimes earlier, sometimes a little bit later. Thank you once again. And we are Ronin's Den. I'm Steve. This is Eric. And you have a wonderful night. We'll see you next time.
Catch you next week.